Hey everybody, two videos in 1 week, it's crazy talk, right? Um, anyways, I guess I should make this video seeing that I can follow it up from the videos that I've made about my comic book subscription. So we're going to talk about the Marvel comic book subscriptions again. However, I'm going to talk about my issue, no pun intended, with the three titles that I was collecting. Alright, so in case you care, or if you know, I was collecting, I had Captain Marvel, so let's separate these. I had Captain Marvel, and I got issues 9 and 10 as part of my subscription. When I subscribed, obviously before issue 9, and they sent me 9 and 10, right? Now listen to what I'm saying. I subscribed to a full year of this comic. Now you can go on the subscription services, and if there's a limited series or something that's going to be shorter than 12 issues, it will specifically say, and you will have and you will notice it'll reflect in the price that you're getting it at a certain whatever percentage discount, but you're only paying for so many issues. And if you go into the title to check it out, it'll say how many issues will ship. Meaning if it's a 4-issue limited series, you're going to get 4 comics. And you're going to pay for 4 comics. It's 6, 12, like a maxi series, which is technically still a full year of subscription, but it's like Secret Wars. It's only supposed to go 12 issues. So I went under the assumption also, which the last issue, which issue 10 here, shows on the back of their subscription card, that Captain Marvel is an option for $30.64 a month, a savings of 40% off the cover price. Cover price, of course, being $3.99, which is per standard usual. Okay. The second one I got, the one I had in the middle, because I basically subscribed to these, added them on as the year went on, and I got issues 6 through 10 of She-Hulk, Sensational She-Hulk. Again, with issue 10, it says, right on the back of the card that comes with these, it shows that Sensational She-Hulk is available as a 12-issue series. Now, granted, I know the truth of it, right? I'm not an idiot. I know that these cards are probably printed up at a certain time, and then they just toss them in these things, right? I understand that. However, I don't understand how when you go on the website and you click on, as I did, clicked on She-Hulk at issue 6, so, issue 5 would probably have been at the time, and then I bought it at issue 6. It could have even been issue 4, but regardless, I bought it at issue 6. It's the first one I got, and it was supposed to be for a full year, like the $30, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, issue 10. We're now on issue 10 of Spider-Woman. This is the one I've been collecting the longest through the year. I started with issue 4. I got 4 through 10 here. And again, without sounding like a broken record, same thing, same card in the back says the same thing. Spider-Woman's an option, blah, blah, blah. And they stopped at issue 10. Okay. Now, and again, same situation with all these. Now, issues 10 for all 3 comics, I think shipped out. Last one I got might have been August. And it said, and August went by, September went by, and here we're into October. It's almost Halloween in tomorrow, at the end of the month. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. What's been going on? Why haven't I been getting my comics that I subscribed for? What's the holdup? I go on their page. Actually, let me pull this up for you, and I'll show you how we rectified the situation. But you obviously know where this is going. Let's see where it is. Give it a minute to pull up here. Okay, let's flip this over. So this is how you manage. This is the dashboard for managing your print subscriptions, and as you can see there, you've got Ultimate. This is what I had to change it to. So anyways, my previous ones, of course, were Captain Marvel, Sensational She-Hulk, Spider-Woman. And then how many processed issues? I got 2, 5, and 7. That makes sense. They have all the comics right here. Remaining issues 0, and I'll tell you what happened with that. So, what's the deal, guys? I mean, it's like, here's the thing. I had to go online, and I looked up, hey, are these comics canceled? Yes, they are. Oh, I didn't get any information on that. And then email, they have my email, because I corresponded to them to rectify the situation. No email saying, hey, by the way, those comics you subscribe to, yeah, well, they're all canceled. And so anyway, I look online, people are like, oh yeah, they always cancel all the girl titles at issue 10. They always do? Okay. Other person's like, it's common knowledge that they were going to be canceled at issue 10. Is it common knowledge? I mean, I subscribe to these comics. I read these comics because I'm not like a uber diehard fanboy. I somehow missed the memo. I somehow missed this common knowledge. I mean, I know it's just people saying what they're saying, but I'm just saying I'm sure there's a lot of people that think that way. Like, oh, didn't you know? No. How would I have known? You would assume that the sites that you manage your stuff with would be the ones that would tell you, hey, by the way, just in case you don't know, and a matter of fact, it's common knowledge, because you're too stupid to know. You're uncommon, that you don't know this common knowledge. I thought the point of common knowledge was that everybody knew it, right? So I had to contact Midtown Comics, is who fulfills their print subscriptions, and I talked to a person, Cassandra Cain, apparently the female Batman. I talked to her personally, and this person who goes under the moniker Cassandra Cain. Now, who knows? I mean, that's never their real name, but they had obviously a little icon was Batgirl, so. I'm sure I wasn't talking to the real Cassandra Cain. Anyways, so I had to go on there, and I said to them, hey, and I asked them a simple question. Hey, were these issues canceled? And if they were, I still have some remaining issues. What can I do? They said, you can, hey, we're sorry about that. You could have told me. We're sorry about that. We'll credit back the credit card that you used to purchase the subscriptions. Okay, problem is my credit card's changed numbers since then, because of course I had, I don't know if you've had the glory of getting all your stuff hacked and having to wait 7 to 10 business days to get a new ATM card or debit card. So it was not the same card. And they said, oh, well, we can't put it on a new card. You can't? Why can't you? So I said, okay, well, what are my options? I mean, you're not really giving me any. I hate this back and forth bullshit where they just, don't tell you. It says, give me my options. You obviously know the situation. You can't be that brain dead. And they said, oh, we can just transfer it to different titles. That's fine, because there's other titles that I'd like to collect. But I mean, if I was in a situation where that wouldn't be fine, I think there would be a problem here. So of course I changed them over to, I started on the new West Coast Connection. Now, is this really going to be 10 issues? Is it going to be 12 issues? It's going to be canceled. But I want to get my Spider-Woman fix, so I figured I'd stay on West Coast Connections. It's a store. West Coast Avengers. And then I decided, I'm already getting X-Men and Uncanny X-Men from my local comic book shop. So I figured, I'll just run out my remaining issues with those two comics. I'm not really that fond of either two. I still need to make a video on this From the Ashes thing, but anyways, I mean, that it gives me fine. I get a better discount than I get at my comic book shop, but I like to give my money to my local comic book shop so he stays in business. So I have a third space that I could go to and talk shop with people and talk comics and buy from him. So when I talked to him, I told him right out for point blank when I went in there pick up my comics this week. I was like, hey, look, this is what they did. And he's like, it's stupid. And I said, yeah. I said, I apologize for not being able to purchase. He's like, don't worry about that. So, I guess it is what it is. It's me getting bent out of shape over nothing. These are third world problems. But at the same time, I find it kind of irritating by a major corporation, or at least a company that's owned by a major corporation. Even when Marvel owned Marvel, and they weren't part of Disney, they were still a pretty big company, and they seemed to have their shit straight back then. And I remember when I said the whole reason I got these subscriptions was it was kind of a nostalgic throwback to getting comics as I was a kid back in subscription. And I remember back then I had no issues. I got G.I. Joe and Transformers. So those are the two big comics that I had back in the 80s on subscription. I never had a problem. Never had a problem. Obviously, those are pretty two titles. So I guess that comes back to the elephant in the room when it talks about, especially the female characters, is apparently they don't sell. And that's a shame because, the thing is, I think the creators, in Marvel, I'm going to leave DC aside for now because they haven't done me wrong at the moment. But, at Marvel, I think they assume that everything's going to fail, but they really want to push these female characters. And again, like I said, female comic book characters have been my favorite since puberty. Maybe for all the wrong reasons, so be it. But they're still my most sorry, still getting over my pneumonia. Still most well-liked comics characters, and specifically She-Hulk, Spider-Woman, and to a lesser extent the older Miss Marvel, not really the current Captain Marvel. It's still Carol Danvers, but I preferred her when she was in her, her Warbird costume, the black costume. Especially when she would, like Frank Cho was doing her back in like the 2000s, and she's part of the new X-Men, which also featured Spider-Woman, by the way. Is that right? Is it the new X-Men? I can't remember. I can't remember now off the top of my head. But anyways, it's like, oh, these comic books don't sell. Okay, well, why make them if you know going in that they're not going to sell? Oh yeah, we're going to cancel everything at issue 10. Okay, you never made that abundantly clear to anybody. And even if it was this like silent thing, that was going to happen, why? What's the point? Maybe we'll see if it catches on. I guess that's what they're doing. They're just dipping their toes in the water, constantly throwing out these short-run series of these characters. But the thing is, I read all these comics, and Spider-Woman, I should have known it. I should have saw the writing on the wall, and I just didn't put two and two together because I didn't feel like I had to. But by the time, what was it? After she fights her son, who's grown up in this one. Yeah, here we go. So when she starts heading out to from the East Coast to the West Coast, going out to San Francisco, where she was back in the day, back in her late 70s comic. She's no longer pregnant. She's back to her fighting weight. She's heading back out to San Francisco, and then she comes in contact with these characters here, these young, essential young Gen Z. I don't think they're millennials. Gen Z superheroes. She realizes, I kind of have, San Francisco's kind of covered. I don't really need help, or they don't really need help, right? So of course that inevitably is going to lead her into West Coast Avengers, which again, that makes that, I guess maybe it could be because they're all ex-Avengers or they're all Avengers, but at the point, what's really is there a reason why you, it's like, if she feels that she doesn't need to be in San Francisco anymore because, everything's covered by these younger kids, then why does the West Coast Avengers need to be, made? I love West Coast, I love the original West Coast Avengers. I was there from ground zero on that one. So, I'm gonna obviously fill up some of my. I got 6 issues to fill out with that one. I'm gonna throw them into West Coast Avengers. So hopefully that one's good. At least the first 6 issues should give me a good taste if the comic's good or not. Hopefully there's plenty of Spider-Woman because I really like her. And then, but yeah, I should have saw the writing on the wall. But back to what I was talking about comics being good, and being canceled because they're not popular. Like I said, Rainbow Rowell, I can't never say Rowell, Rainbow Rowell. Her writing on this, I like her writing. As far as I like the way she writes. I think her comedy in it is my kind of style of comedy. And I don't like the common argument, oh no, women can't be funny. Yes, they can be funny. Like I said, she's about my age too, and she seems like she's suffers from a lot of the same afflictions that I have. So I could see her personality being shaped in very straight. I guess what's my sense of humor? Sarcastic, sarcastic dick. I guess that's my sense of humor. She seems to be very sarcastic and very, that way. She seems to be a little more optimistic. Well, most women are more optimistic for me, even if they're sarcastic like I am. But my only issue was that maybe keeping keeping the same artist on for all of them, because I don't believe it's the same artist. I think they moved around a little bit. But this is common. Let's see. Jenna Lay, is that the person's? Oh, maybe, okay, all 6 of these. Okay, same artist for all of them. This one's falling apart here, but let me pull this out real quick. The person does Jen's face great. I think they get the overall kind of feel of Jen great. I don't like, I want to see some Jen leg, and they got her in way too much clothing. When she's in her suit, she looks fine. I actually think she looks very cool in her suit, very appealing in her suit. She's got this crazy outfit. Look at that outfit. She's really sporting some green glutes there. Anyways, that outfit's fine, but that's the problem. She's always in and I mean, I guess I can't argue, because Byrne used to put her in lots of different outfits back in the day, and rarely. I mean, Sensational She-Hulk, the original one, I think she was rarely ever in a standard costume, or a costume that seemed to be like her mainstay costume. She's got that more modern costume that she's had since like the 2000s, but that one, as you can see, it still features some leg. Here's the thing: is you've got her in pants in here, right? Okay, but you got her on the cover with her legs out. What are you saying here? It's mixed. It's the same artist too. It's like, I don't get it. What's the mix? Are you trying to outsell the cover by putting in her legs, and then let's cover her up when we get her in the comic? Is that the case? I mean, clearly they don't have a problem showing some green skin. I mean, she's right on the cover there. Again, here's her classic, more modern costume. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's fine. Look at her. She's got it on the cover there. Issue 9, 1 before 10. She's sporting the costume. Look at that hip. You got some She-Hulk leg, right? Never has that costume on in the comic itself, right? I'm not saying you need a gratuitous butt shot of Jen every other panel, although that would be nice. But I'm just saying, is occasionally, if you just throw her in the costume, you don't have to shoot her from behind every 5 minutes. But I mean, you can put her in the costume and let her run around, and then maybe we'll get, just by organically, you're going to get some nice shots of her. I'm not saying that's the whole reason I collect and I like She-Hulk. It's a major reason, but it's not the reason. I would not even say it's the number one reason. The number one reason, I just like the character. I always have, ever since Byrne did her in and put her in Fantastic Four back in the day, which I was there for Ground Zero on that as well. Ever since Secret Wars 2. Obviously you can tell I'm a fan of that. Or not Secret Wars 2. Secret Wars. Oh, Secret Wars 2 to some extent, but although I didn't like it as much. But Secret Wars, obviously, that's where I started collecting comics in 1984. with that issue. Well, not that specific issue, but I mean that was one of them. Um, and that's when I started to really like She-Hulk right in the beginning. So I'm not saying you need to get Byrne back to do She-Hulk. I think Rainbow Rowell can do it just fine. Maybe she doesn't want to. That's fine. You know. You got you got your freedom. Sorry, I left the screen on so long here. Sorry, I'm just dying too. I don't know. This whole thing irritated me. It sours me yet again. It's just another nail in the coffin of things that just pissed me off with the comic book industry, and specifically the major publishers. And for the most part, Marvel seems to be the one that really pisses me off the most. But I hold them in higher regards than DC because I've always been a Marvel person. So I kind of expect them to be better than DC. I'm not saying DC's awesome. But, I mean, DC does have a tendency to stay a lot more consistent and keep their titles around for a while. I mean, most of their female titles are, they're going strong. You've got, of course, anything Catwoman's going to sell, Wonder Woman's going to sell, so they're always going to be popular. But you would think that She-Hulk or Spider-Woman, seeing that they're, female, what do you call it? Female versions of Spider-Man and Hulk, which are two of the biggest Marvel comics of all time, you would think that they would sell. And I guess Captain Marvel supposedly is Captain America, or the Miss Marvel, whatever you want to call her. I know technically she was Captain Marvel the dude, and then there's Miss Marvel. But I think we all kind of know what Miss Marvel is. She's Captain America. She's a blonde. Steve's a blonde. He's like the ultimate soldier kind of thing, because she was, a pilot, whatever, and you got Steve, who's an ultimate soldier, born in, out of World War II. It's the same character. And then if whoever you want to put your third character is, who's the female Thor, I guess, or Iron Man? I mean, I guess there's lots of different characters you can say that. I'm not saying there has to be a female counterpart for every male character. But no, I enjoy them when they come along, and I like them, and I don't mind reading their own title. I would prefer it to read their own title where they can focus on just that character and their relationships with other characters and people and villains and the whole nine yards. And that's cool when they put them. They're not just in New York. They put them in, let's say, San Francisco. It'd be nice to see maybe one in Chicago or Detroit or something, or it's always got to be, of course, the West and East Coast, because there is no in between for the rest of the world. So whatever. But yeah, I mean, I like I'm gonna still continue to collect comics, obviously. I'm just disappointed this happened. And what's funny, I'll end on this. It seems like I knew it was going to happen. Like, I mean, it was like I could hear myself telling me all of this stuff that's going to happen. And I'm just like not listening to myself when I subscribed, right? They're going to cancel the comics. They're the girl comics. They never make it. They're going to cancel them. And I just ignored it. I was optimistic. Heaven forbid me be optimistic. That at least I'd make it through, a 12-issue subscription before the comics are canceled. Whatever. Throw my hands up in the air. So we'll see what happens next. We'll see what happens with maybe West Coast connections. Plenty of Jessica, and that satisfies my Jessica itch. And they've got She-Hulk in the Avengers right now. Avengers isn't really that great. I mean, it's okay. I mean, she's in there, but again, she's kind of running the same comic in her own comic. They're kind of not selling her very well. They need to sell Jen. I mean, if you're going to sell Jen, you can sell Jen. And I'm not saying it has to be gratuitous, Jen butt shot every 5 seconds. But I'm just saying is you could put her in her regular costume that people are used to for years, and you could just run her through the ringer like normal. She's going to stay in the Avengers. That's fine. Just run her along with the... I'd like to see her go back to the Fantastic Four and put on that Fantastic Four costume she had. Personally, I would like to see that. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Let Ben Grimm go to another dimension for a while. Sorry. But I got better in this video. I'm sorry, my voice is falling apart. I still can't shake this pneumonia. It's got me good. I'm already done with my antibiotics have already been taken, so now it's just hoping it gets out of my, hopefully by the weekend I'm fine. But alright, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm trying to make videos more often, and I think I've got more to talk about, especially all this kind of stuff unravels. And I do want to touch on the I'm going to probably do one on the X-Men, not the Uncanny X-Men first. I'll do the regular X-Men. And it's because it's funny, I thought I was similar in the situation. Then I talked to my buddy who's a long-term, collector, the guy I met from Ruther, remember? And he kind of said the same thing I said, It's like, hey, have you, just give a real quick of that. I said, hey, did you you've been reading the new X-Men titles? He said, I've got them, but I haven't read them all. I haven't been caught up. And that's the same thing with me. I've got them all, but I haven't stayed caught up on them. I think I'm on issue 3 out of 6. I think I have 3 comics to read. I'll probably just go back and read all first 3 again just to get the story. So I made a video about it. But I'll make a video about the first 6 of X-Men and tell you what my opinions on it are. I'd like to get everybody else's opinion. But again, I'm closing now, but that's it. Give me your opinion on this. Tell me, you can join the line of people to, whack me over the head and say, you idiot. Didn't you know all the female titles get closed out at issue 10? It's common knowledge. You could be that person, so get in line. I'll take my whacks for being so stupid. But if you have anything else to say, or you agree with me, or you're equally as kind of ticked off as I am, or whatever your ideas on the situation are, let me know, and I will catch you on the next one. All right, bye-bye.